Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. So I want to have a chat with you about social media scams and shame. And unfortunately, this has been a recurring theme that's been happening in the world. And I want to show you a couple of headlines to show you what I mean. This just came out, Wall Street Journal. It says here, Meta designed products to capitalize on teen vulnerabilities, the state alleged. So I mentioned it was like a week or so ago where several states is suing Facebook, is saying, hey, you've created an algorithm to abuse young people, teens, young adults, etc. And the other thing too, it's really quite interesting, is that they released some more documents and essentially unredacted, meaning that nothing's blacked out, you can see it all. And Facebook is well aware that many underage users are on their platforms. This would be users that are under 13. And one of the things that's really difficult for them to do, and for any of the online, social media networks, is to do age verification. It's just hard to do, right? You don't know who's in front of the computer, etc. However, they are well aware of sort of how their algorithm works, and by pushing, certain kinds of content, it keeps people addicted to said content, right? And one of the things that's really sad, though, is that a lot of negative content sort of is the most addictive. It obviously depends how you define negative. I want to talk today about scams, because I think this is something that is something we talk about a lot on this channel. And you have social media pushing these kinds of content, because people always write in the comments of like, hey Chris, which sort of financial YouTubers do you like? Are they all scams? And the answer is yes. Yes, they are. That's the whole point. And it's sad. And essentially anyone out there who's selling you scammy classes or pushing you scammy products, etc., be very, very leery. Now, there's something I want to share with you that goes well beyond just the financial content on YouTube. And this is the headline that really caught my attention, and sort of why we're talking about this today. We'll read it here. This is November 16th. Sextortion. I sent a nude and was blackmailed for money. Essentially what it is that you have these sort of people who are posing as maybe someone from your college or high school for work, right? In your social network, like an attractive young female, and you think they're messaging you, and then they start asking you for naked photos. This is like a real thing that happens to people. And I'll read another headline. I don't know what to do. Thousands of teen boys are being extorted in sexting scams. And I can't say the word, but I'll just say people hurt themselves over this stuff, because they essentially got scammed. And you know what it is? This is a huge problem. There's a couple things that I want to address with this. So first is, scoping the YouTube space. This is a real thing. There's a lot of channels out there that talk about porn addiction for young men. It's a very real problem. And I'm just telling you guys the truth. If I was a young person growing up in today's internet world, the access to like all kinds of adult content out there is so easy. When I was a kid, so I'm pushing 50. If we wanted to get that kind of stuff, it was either, some kid's dad had it, in the like popular house on the corner of the street, that kind of thing. Like you go to that kid's house and, some dad had a bunch of magazines, in the cabinet, that kind of thing. Or, you had to go to like 7-Eleven and they would have the magazines behind, said counter, etc. But it wasn't that easy to get that kind of stuff. It just wasn't. Today, I mean, I can just look on my phone, right? It's really that simple. Or I just turn on my computer and it's all over the place. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because I've noticed so many channels of like trying to help people overcome their addiction. I tried to talk about it without chuckling, but I mean, it sounds funny, and yes, it is funny to say, someone's watching too much of this kind of stuff, but it can be really detrimental to your mental health, and this sort of bleeds into why people are getting sextortion. One of the things that, and I remember from my high school days, is, and this is a real fault to American culture, they always, meaning other high school students, make it feel like, everyone's having sex and everyone's like having a grand old time all of the time. And it's not really true. It's the same way that stuff you see on social media is also not really true. A lot of people out there just put up this big facade, and the young kids will say fronting, right? Putting on a mask, putting up this, sort of illusion of who that person is. And what happens is that then people feel like, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing the right thing if I'm not keeping up with essentially the Joneses in that kind of way. And so then you're looking for sort of opportunities and looking for, chances to get with the popular girl in school or this kind of thing. And so then this sort of feeds into how a person can, again, they pose as someone on your network, start chatting with you, I guess, on Instagram or WhatsApp or whatever. And I'm just telling you guys, like, I have these applications and I get like these messages from hot girls all the time. You know what I'm talking about, right? And it's funny because they just say like, hi, how are you? They don't really, when I was a kid, we'd make the joke where they'd say, hey, looking for a good time kind of thing. But they how can I say, they use language that's a little bit more natural. And now with AI, they can probably do it much quicker. But then eventually, because they're using a profile picture of maybe someone in your network or someone at your school, or just someone that you may know, it seems more believable. And then they get you to send nude photos. And I don't know like how many people this affects. What I will say, I read through these articles, and the reason why I want to talk about social media and shame is that if this happens to you and you get scammed or, catfish, this kind of thing, it's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. Just imagine it like that you fell for one of these things and you sent, naked photos of yourself across the internet or whatever. And now they're saying, hey, pay me a bunch of money or I'm going to show these photos to all your, everyone in your network, etc. It's really, really stressful, especially for a young kid that doesn't know how to deal with this kind of thing. Moreover, they don't really want to talk to anyone about it, which is perfectly understandable. And this is something that I want to share with you, which I haven't shared with anyone else before. During the whole FTX thing, I was contacted by several reporters, the Wall Street Journal, Business Insider, Wired Magazine was another one. And essentially what they wanted was, okay, Chris, since you run a YouTube channel, can you help us find people who have been scammed by either by YouTubers or scammed by the FTX thing, like these kind of things, because we need people's stories to, make sure people understand that someone's been hurt here. The thing is, it's really hard to get people to admit that they've been scammed. It's embarrassing, and it's also painful, right? To like open up your wounds to everyone in that situation, losing money. And this situation here is, I sent naked photos of myself. Like, you wouldn't want people to know about this kind of stuff. This is sort of why I don't make any jokes about these kind of things, because like I'm just putting myself back in the shoes of the person that this happens to, like how crazy that is. And it's funny because let's say like you're a parent or a friend, and I've said this several times in the classroom. I may joke about it, but I say it all the time in the classroom, is like, when in doubt, don't take pictures of yourself that if you're worried, if they were ever out on online, that everyone would see, that don't take pictures of yourself that you would feel uncomfortable with, right? And then going back to the FTX sort of YouTuber scam thing, is that it's actually really, really difficult to get people to open up about these things. And so that's why I said we don't know how many people out there have been scammed by say scammers on YouTube or scammers in this situation, the sexting thing, because if you have been, you just kind of keep it private. And so for the people and the families who come out and do say, hey, I've been affected by said scammers or this kind of thing, it takes a lot of courage. And when they do that, it sort of lets other people know that you're not alone. And the thing I was thinking about with this stuff is just these days, so many people are vulnerable to these kind of things because they don't have good role models in their life. And I've said this several times on this channel, guys, I grew up with that situation where I didn't have any role models around. Like, I don't want to, be too mean, but I'll just say people around me, adults around me, weren't going anywhere. They weren't going anywhere in their lives. And the only sort of, what can I say, thing they could look forward to is the beer on Friday. I think that was it. That's the extent of their ambitions. And it is not a good environment to be in. And I completely understand. Someone mentioned in a comment a couple of days ago where like they're saying, many people in America feel broken these days, and this kind of stuff put together with social media, if you're feeling that way, and then you look at social media and everyone's smiling and happy and these kind of things, that makes you feel even worse. And so that's why I try to tell you guys all the time that many of the things that you see on social media aren't real, right? I always bring up the same reference. I did a video like a month or so ago, and there was a TikTok video that I included in the video, and there was like this 14-year-old kid that's like, I bought a Rolex at 14 years old. it's like, I just laugh because like, to me, it's like obviously stupid and obviously, a scam and obviously a liar, that kind of stuff. But if everyone on social media is doing this kind of thing, then you think it's normal, right? And then if you get scammed, then people kind of ridicule you for being stupid. But I'm just here to tell you, starting with the whole Meta situation, meaning Facebook, like these social media companies stack the deck against you. And so this is sort of why you need to prepare for yourself for these kind of things and for this kind of world. And so again, when someone asks, hey, Chris, who do you like on YouTube? Is everyone a scam? Yes, they are. I got to make that really clear. I'll try to do more of these. And I just want to, I guess the core message I want you to get from this is, if you've ever been a victim to any of these kind of online scams, I'm sorry to hear that. And, how can I say, you need to know that you're not alone. And also too, you need to learn from your mistakes so it doesn't happen again. And let other people know, like, hey, this is a scam. This is a real thing. Don't let it happen to you. And I'll give you an example from my childhood. My friends and I, there's one friend who was always, his name was Seth. And I always laugh when I say his name because he always had some cockamamie idea to get rich, right? You always have that friend who has that cockamamie idea. And he introduced 3 of us to Amway, basically. If you don't know what that is, it's a multi-level marketing scheme. It's a pyramid scheme stuff. And I remember we went to this Amway meeting thing, and didn't really know anything about it. I'm a kid. I didn't know anything about this stuff. And it all sounds great. It sounds like you're going to make tons of money. All you got to do is network and blah, 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 and build out your pyramid, basically, and you're going to be rich. And until you've had that experience of being scammed, you don't realize like the dangers and essentially shady people out there in the world. There's really a lot. And so you got to keep your guard up these days, especially with the online stuff, and especially with these new types of scams. I would have never guessed this was a thing that someone asks you for naked photos, you send them, and then they try to blackmail you. I just wouldn't know. And I completely understand why someone feels shame about this and why it's a serious thing. So I just wanted to bring this attention to you, and we'll keep talking about these things. And I try to stay positive and show up every day with a smile. And just let you know that not everyone out there is fake. Yes, most people are. It is a very real thing, but not everyone. And essentially, let's try to just build this community where we support each other and give each other positive messages to build each other up. So thanks again for watching, everyone. Be careful out there, and I'll catch you in the next video.